Welcome back to Down the Forest Path podcast. Today we will look at the element of air in our mini-series on the 5 elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. So though we can't see the element of air itself, we can see its effect on things, such as the wind through the trees, the clouds in the sky, the colors of sunrise, and the smoke rising from burning incense. Air is often thought of as a masculine element, as is fire, and feminine elements are seen as earth and water, though you may prefer not to associate any gender to the element at all. It's purely your choice. Air is thought. It is the initial idea before something becomes manifest. It is therefore associated with new beginnings and with learning and academia. It's the blue sky and the rising sun. It is the tempest and the storm. It's music and the spark of life that sets the seed to growing. It is the air we breathe. It is our breath itself. Air is the light of a new dawn, the rising sun in the east. It corresponds with springtime, when the buds are just beginning to open and the flowers and tree blossoms turn their face towards the sun. It's the time of love, romantic love, and also friendship. Even as the birds are singing their sweet songs to each other in courtship, we can see the abundance of spring and the element of air. It's adolescence and young adulthood, where we're finding our feet and experimenting with life. Its colors are white and yellow. Air is the huge expanse of skies over our head, and it's the freedom within our souls. It is thought and visualization. In spellcraft, it involves questing for inspiration and new ideas, as well as all spell work involved with travel and experimentation. It is also used for clear sight and for seeing through deceptions, and it is often used in communication spells. Some animals that are associated with air are hawks and eagles, and birds of all kind, including the cockerel. There are also bees and other winged creatures, and also spiders are connected to the element of air. The tool of air is interesting in that it is something that is debatable in the pagan community. So many see the tool of this element as the sword, while others see the wand as corresponding to the element of air. Now, the tarot suit of air is swords. However, Deborah Lipp in her book The Way of Four gives us some information on why this is, when many see the wood of the wand as more connected to air, and the fire and heat of the forge as more connected to the tarot suit or the tool of the sword, or its smaller counterpart, the athame. So the Rider-Waite tarot deck, or the Smith Rider-Waite, to give full credit to everyone involved in the creation of that deck, it's the most popular, hence the people who use it follow the elemental connections with the suits contained within that deck. However, Waite was a member of the Golden Dawn and took an oath of secrecy, so as not to divulge all of their secrets to the public at large, and he didn't want to reveal everything in the tarot deck, but he still wanted to keep some of the associations that he had learned through the Order of the Golden Dawn. So, cups and pentacles, they're very much associated with water and earth respectively, and so they couldn't easily be changed, but however, swords and wands could. So as the Golden Dawn associated air with wand and fire with swords, Waite figured he'd switch these associations in the tarot deck, and thus keep some semblance of secrecy, as per his oath to the order. So if you work with a tarot, you may have different associations than others who don't work so closely with the tarot. So preferably, I prefer wands to correspond with the element of air and swords to the athame, or the sword with fire, but that's purely my choice. You may prefer to see it otherwise. The magical creature associated with the element of air is the sylph. So you can call upon these creatures as elementals in ritual to bring that element into play. Herbs that are associated with air include agrimony, aspen, birch, cedar, clary sage, clover, comfrey, hazel, mint, mistletoe, pine, and wormwood. Too much of the element of air in your life can lead to a feeling of disassociation. It can lead to arrogance or even a kind of head in the clouds feeling or a lack of empathy. So we want to keep these elements in balance within ourselves and within our souls. So try to balance it out with other elements, and probably the best one to balance that out is with water, which we will be exploring a little later on in the series. So thank you for listening to this podcast, and we will continue with fire, water, and then finally spirit. So I hope you'll be joining us later, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.